I'm at the Capitol Riverfront campus. I'm Sabrina Burroughs, and I'm a kindergarten teacher currently this year, but I've also taught pre-K 4 and pre-K advanced. I really like the TEC mentor program. The thing I like about it is when the mentors collaborate, and then the gathering of thoughts, and then we bring them to life. So we go out and we introduce them to staff, and then introduce them to the students, and it kind of brings the technology into the classroom. But I like the program because there are things that I've learned about technology that even with a technology degree, I didn't know, and I'm learning something new every day. Definitely the smart board, integrating that technology piece into learning and making it more visual for that modality for the kids who are strong with the visual modality, and even the tactile for the touch and feel. Definitely the smart board has been a helpful tool. Additionally to the iPads, being able to have the students touch and feel to create and use technology for something other than just playing a game, but actually bringing it as a learning tool has been really helpful for the kids. It's just like a pencil or a pen. The iPad is the same learning tool. So we don't use it as a reward system, and we use it to enhance what they're already learning. So for example, a student came up with a question the other day. We were talking about the differences between a seahorse and a horse that lives on a farm. So the idea was, well, let's go get the iPad and investigate. So we pulled up the seahorse, we pulled up the actual horse that lives on a farm, and they were able to compare the differences in the two horses by having those two visual tools next to each other. Then they took the same iPads and they used drawing pad to draw the different animals. One that lives in the ocean of water, one that lives on a farm, one that has legs, one that has a tail, so they could compare and contrast. So the strategies that we're using in the classroom are literally coming to life using the technology. I think that within early childhood education, we produce a lot of letter names and letter sounds. If you can actually hear the sound as opposed to just seeing the letter, it actually enhances what they're doing. It makes it useful. It makes it more specific to their modality. So if they are kinesthetic, they can get up and move around. If they're auditory, they can hear it. If they're visual, they can see it. Or there's a lot of movement in learning in early childhood. And you know how we sing and dance in early childhood. The iPad helps to build that skill out for them, so they can learn how to not only sing and dance it, but they're seeing it, and they're actually seeing other students doing it as well. We can look at it here in the classroom, at another school nearby, or at least around the world, how they're doing the same kinds of learning, and it looks different in different places, and the technology helps them to see that and explore more, and it takes them outside of their community of learning, so they're learning beyond where we are. So we were learning the other day about the stars and the planets, and we were talking about visiting the planetarium, and many of our students said they visited the planetarium, but it was like going to a pet store, or it's like going to a farm. But when we went online to the smartboard to actually take a virtual field trip to the planetarium, we actually went to a planetarium in Arkansas. And it's outside of right here in DC, and it literally brought the entire room to darkness, and they could see stars and things shooting out of it, and they were able to use higher order thinking in order to figure out how did that happen, why did this come forward. They were able to use problem solving tools to say, if I were on a planet, I would do this. And they were able to really think about how the technology changed for them, because a lot of them had no idea what it was, because it activates their prior knowledge, but then it brings it to reality, because they can see this is what it really is. Even at a young age, at 3 and 4 years old, they're learning about things that happen right here in their spectrum, and then way beyond in another spectrum. We were learning about the continents, and just to be able to see different life forms on different continents, they were able to use the technology to go through the continents to see what the animals and people look like and how they were different, and then be able to write that, draw it, and make it more real for them, because their world is very small, but it made their world much broader. Because the program is continuing into next year, I'm able to take the standards that we've learned, the technology standards that we've learned, and literally build a tech into each one of the lessons that we do, whether it's ELA, math, or science. Put a technology piece into that program so we can use that as another resource. So that helps a lot, because I'll be able to say, okay, so we've looked at this on paper, now let's look at it outside of what we can see in the book. Let's look in the real world.